Wow.
Okay. It was being dumb, but now it's not.
There we go.
Okay. Welcome, everyone, to Down the Middle. Lots to talk about this week.
Lots to talk about. How's your 2 weeks been there, Mr. Boger?
Oh, it's been the shits.
Oh, well. Like shit since you've been sick, or it just sucks?
It just sucks.
Oh, okay.
Like, I didn't watch any wrestling this week.
Well, I'm in the same boat. I've been busy with other crap and everything else. Plus, last week was Halloween for everybody who had a great Halloween. If y'all did, us the Down the Middle podcast was you had a great Halloween. Got some good candy, good treats. Hopefully, no little miscellaneous stuff in the middle of your candy there.
You got miscellaneous stuff in your candy?
I was talking about like what bad people would do with sticking razor blades and stuff and chocolates and everything else, which you should not do. Never do.
I got a hard time believing that happens on the regular. I know it happened once, but
well, what's funny is I actually took my child trick-or-treating last week, and him and his cousin, and we went trick-or-treating, got candy and everything, and brought it home and went going through it and opened up a sucker, and we looked, and I'm like, we looked at it a little more like, yeah, that's a little no-no.
Looks a little sketchy.
Yeah, so we was like, yeah, we should throw that one away. I'm like, yeah, we're good. So it's still possible that people could somehow still,
oh yeah,
get into.
There's assholes everywhere. But where do we want to start? There have been a lot of releases and a lot of different kinds of releases.
You want to start with the biggie company you don't like? You want to go with Ring of Honor? You want to go with this? What do you want to go with? We can go with a lot of stuff today.
Well, I guess we might as well start with WWE.
Okay.
I happen to have the list right here, and some of these, honestly, I called it.
I will agree with you on those. I do call it with you. I'm just shocked, is all.
There are names on this one. So let's just start. Frankie Monet, better known as Taya Valkyrie.
Yeah.
I called that shit when they gave her new name.
Okay, and we might as well just throw the other person in with her. Oh, no.
No, John.
Yeah, Taya's. I'm thinking of the wrong person. I apologize.
Yeah,
they changed her name and everything, and I think they probably thought that how good she did in Impact, she was going to come here and her shit wasn't going to stink.
Well, she wouldn't have stunk because I'm a fan of Taya Valkyrie, and they completely wasted her because first of all, it was forever before she was on TV.
Well, no, right, and I'm not going to disagree with that. But what I'm saying is, like, she had a great run in Impact, and all of a sudden, she's like, okay, now I'm going to go to WWE because that's where my husband is. And I'm thinking, okay, I can have a good run there. It's like, they're not using me. What's going on?
Yeah,
your name's not as big as your husband's is.
Nope, but it's not a shock. But I mean, I think she might end up in that Women of Wrestling promotion.
There, she'll probably go back to Impact.
Well, yeah, for the moment, but she'll probably end up in that WoW promotion when it starts up. Right. All righty. Next, we have Ember Moon.
See, and here's the thing about Ember Moon is she's the type that had the career on NXT but she goes to the main roster, and they squander her.
Yep.
And it's like she had the great run in NXT. I and everything else. I'm like, okay, she got momentum. She's doing it and everything. And then go to main roster, like, oh, yeah, wasted it.
Yeah, there's a lot of names on this list that are just like that, but I think Ember Moon will be fine.
I see if she goes anywhere, I can see her going. We'll go ahead and go along with WoW. Or I go with. I'm not trying to send everybody to AEW. I'm not trying to. But I say she can go to Impact as well.
She could go anywhere. She'll be okay.
Yeah, she can.
Because if they just let her wrestle, she'll be fine.
Yes.
Then we had Jessie Kamea.
Jessie Kamea.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
That's probably one of those names that it doesn't hit me.
Yeah, and then Katrina Cortez. Don't know who that is. Yeah. Who the hell is Jeet Rama?
G Rama?
Yeah.
Again, like there's some on that list I didn't know. Like they probably just signed and stuff. And unless I looked at them, I probably wouldn't know who they were.
Yeah, couldn't tell you. Let's see. Then we got Oni Lorcan, which did surprise me a little bit.
Yes.
Because I never particularly liked him, but he was always in good matches.
I'm on the same page as you on that.
He'll be in Impact.
Yeah.
That's where he'll be. And then we got somebody named Trey Baxter, who I don't know who that is.
I can't remember. Okay, you're right. See, like I said, there's some people on this list that I didn't like. If I've seen their faces, I know it, but then it's not hitting me right now.
And then we got Zeta Ramir.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't know who that is. Now the big shocker. Well, not a shocker for us, but the two of the biggest names were Karrion Kross and Scarlett.
Yeah. Because Karrion Kross was a beast on NXT, demolished everybody, won the NXT title. But Scarlett was there because she's the manager and everything else. But then they moved him to the main roster and made him lose to
everyone.
He lost. Well, right, but the first loss they had was to Jeff Hardy, and I was like, what, a minute, if that?
Now that was while he was NXT champion too, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so they buried him, and then we're shocked when he couldn't do anything.
Right, and he's coming out with this garb of like he's like a Viking or something like that. I'm like, why?
Yeah, they clearly didn't learn their lesson with the Viking experience.
Yeah. It's like, Vince, you can do some good things, but when it comes to like you want to do stuff with like characters and like you just want to throw a helmet on, like this. And no.
Do you think Vince has just gotten so senile that he thinks it's 1983 again?
I think so.
That's what it seems like.
Or no, or that, or it's 1994 and he wants to create characters like the Goon.
What?
Sorry about that.
Yeah. So here's the thing. We talked a couple days ago, and we suspect that Killer Cross and Scarlett will end up back in Impact. I'm not so sure about that.
Seriously. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
Don't flag us, YouTube. We're not playing it.
I'm not. I'm walking away from that.
This is the problem with live television. Damn it.
I want to apologize for that, viewers.
Well, I mean, there are worse songs.
No, that's not the point.
I know, because we're professionals, damn it.
Yeah.
Look, we even have a microphone now.
Okay, back to what we were talking about.
Yeah, like I said, I wouldn't be shocked if you saw Scarlett and Killer Cross end up. I mean, that's expected, but frankly, I wouldn't be surprised if you saw them arrive in AEW.
Right, but this goes back to what I've been saying. Calm down on AEW, people. Calm down on AEW. Go to Japan. Go to Mexico.
I don't know that they have all that much exposure in Japan. Now, Mexico, they'd probably be able to handle to do.
Yeah.
But why would you? If you can go to AEW, why wouldn't you?
Well, no, I know. I'm just saying, like.
But we'll get into some future potentials later on when we're talking about Ring of Honor, because we've theorized about that. But going forward, let's see. We got B-Fab, which was that like fake rap group, part of that fake rap group that they were gonna make.
No, they had already had made. I forget what it was called, but I think he was the one with Isaiah Scott. He was the North American.
I thought B-Fab was the girl.
Right, but still, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, once Isaiah Scott went up to the main roster.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
That's what I'm saying.
Next we have Grand Metalik. Shocker, I know.
Lucha House Party.
Yeah, who would have thought that luchadors that they squash and bury at every opportunity wouldn't get over with the fans?
Right? But yet they still have a Cruiserweight title in 205 Live.
Yeah, everyone knows how I feel about the Cruiserweight title and 205 Live.
That's why we love the X Division, right?
I mean, the X Division did it right.
I'm going to say this now on this. I love Cruiserweights and X Division as much as the next guy. But when WWE touches it, they ruin it.
Right, because they bury them.
Right. WCW knew what they were doing with Cruiserweights.
And they tried to bury them.
Well, so say, but like that was one of the main reasons why people loved watching WCW, because they could do all the stuff that, especially there at the end, and especially there at the end of WCW when they reinvented with the Cruiserweights again and the Cruiserweight tag titles.
You know who does Cruiserweights the best?
Who's that?
New Japan.
You're right.
I mean, they do it better than anybody ever has and probably ever will, in my opinion. Because New Japan is able to keep the divisions separate but still be legitimate. Like in AEW, you'll see some matchups that are just ridiculous. Like a Darby Allin versus a Powerhouse Hobbs. Like, come on. Now, don't get me wrong. Darby's good, and Darby's one of the few people that can probably pull that off. But, right. I mean, let's be real. But, like, in New Japan, if you had someone like, say, I don't know, Taiji Ishimori, and you have him go up against, say, an Okada, like, Okada's going to win. Ishimori might do well, but Okada's probably going to win that match just based on the look of it alone.
Right.
But they'd make Ishimori look good while doing it. It wouldn't be a squash match.
No. Like, it'd be one of those, like, oh, my God, it's the near falls, and the falls finishes, and then all of a sudden, boom, he loses. And
Okada's smart enough to know that when they're booking that match, he's got to have a couple moments where he's like, damn. Like, I thought this was going to be easy.
Right.
As opposed to what WWE would do, taking like an Akira Tozawa versus John Cena, and Cena beats him in 2 minutes, but Tozawa gets some weird random offense in that's not believable.
Right.
You know. Anyway, on to the next. Harry Smith. Oh, I'm sorry. Lince Dorado. That's another Lucha House Party, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
it was them two, and Kalisto or Samurai del Sol, who's now in AEW.
Wait, he is?
Yes,
Since when?
since this past week.
Oh, that's why I missed it.
Well, he got in a little trouble. He's got a little backstage heat with Amanda Hubler and Chris Jericho.
Why's that?
Apparently, he said he wasn't meaning no disrespect on Brody Lee, but he apparently spelled his name wrong.
Oh, I saw that. That's a little bit petty. That's a touch petty.
It is.
But anyway, then we have Harry Smith, who I didn't even know was working for WWE.
Yeah, he was back, but he never wrestled today. He wrestled some dark matches, but they never really did nothing with him. But yet, he was doing well in MLW.
I was going to say, I don't know how WWE can continually fuck up a talent like Harry Smith. I mean, how do you mess that up?
That's my point. Like, he was getting back over after they fired him the first time. He was getting well over in Japan. I think he was partners with Lance.
He partnered with Lance Archer at least once. He was part of Suzuki-gun, wasn't he?
I think so.
Yeah, he was. He was getting over.
Yeah, him and Archer were tag champs.
Yep.
Over Japan.
Yep. I mean, he's kind of tailor-made for New Japan, though, if you think about it.
I mean, he's one of those people who should have been IWGP Heavyweight Champion.
100%. I could have seen, at the very least, I could have seen him as a never openweight champion, and like a good one, like a really, really good one. But I could have also seen him as an Intercontinental Champion, if not the IWGP Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah, but we don't have no Intercontinental Champ no more, so.
Yeah, well, which I kind of think was a mistake.
But we also have the United States title as well.
Yeah, I know, and again, I think I know what they were going to do with that. Whoops. But obviously, because of AEW, things changed. But yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if you see them just. I don't know. I like the belt. I like the U.S. title.
Which I'll just go ahead and say this now. Congratulations to Kenta, who is the now brand new IWGP United States Heavyweight Champion, who won that yesterday.
Yep, he's going to elevate that belt.
Yes, he will.
All right, next. This one kind of surprised me, Nia Jax.
No, it didn't me.
It didn't surprise you?
No.
It did me just because of how much they were featuring her.
Right, but it's. I think I told you this the other day. I think I did. I don't remember. She has the history of being reckless in the ring.
Sure.
Of being injuring people. But this also goes with the fact of reports I also read. Don't know how true it is, but to me it wouldn't surprise me because this is known to be a germaphobe, and I've heard that like a lot about. They fired some of these people. They say they fired some of these people for budget cuts.
Yeah, they've been saying that since the first round when the company is showing record profits. That's just... It's like they're not even trying to lie.
But they've also said that some of these people wouldn't get vaccinated.
Yeah.
And Nia Jax is one of those people who was against the vaccination.
You honestly think Vince McMahon got vaccinated?
Well, 100%. Well, as much as what germophobia is, I'm sure he did.
Well, see, it's funny you mentioned that because I heard JR talking on a podcast yesterday, and he was asked about Vince being a germaphobe, and he even said, he's like, I don't know about being a germaphobe per se. That he suspected that part has been overblown. Because honestly, Vince McMahon strikes me as the type of person who would not get vaccinated. But here, I'm actually looking this up. Let's see. Okay, this is apparently WWE's vaccination policy. People will not be required to be vaccinated, but it is requested that those who aren't vaccinated should wear a mask. WWE Chairman Vince McMahon, CBO Stephanie McMahon, and top executive Paul Levesque were present but did not speak at this meeting. It was run by Nick Khan and CFO Christina Salen, however you say that. Jerry the King Lawler took to Twitter to speak on vaccination protocols for talent, revealing WWE requests everyone is fully vaccinated before the next pay-per-view in June. So this is old. Yeah, I don't know.
They go one of two ways.
Yeah, so maybe he is vaccinated. I don't know. That just, I find that odd. Because that would be admitting weakness.
Well, like I said, what Vince wants, Vince gets.
Well, yeah, he got them to completely ignore the law when it came to shutting down businesses.
True.
Let's see. Next was Eva Marie, which I was shocked that they brought her back, not that they released her.
Yeah. And well, what's funny is out of everybody in my show in XW, we got this one guy who can't stand her. Just can't stand her. He'll go on these tirades of when we have these releases and everything. He'll go on these tirades of like such got fired. Like Tyler Breeze got fired. Such gets fired. Like all these other people get fired, but yet they still keep Eva Marie. Why?
Well, Eva Marie is hotter than Tyler Breeze.
I'm stating in general, like it's like you release people who have actually talent compared to somebody who has no talent.
Since when has talent been the paramount factor in WWE?
I'm not denying that. I'm just stating in general, sir.
Next we had, and these are the two that you were thinking of that go together. We got Keith Lee and Mia Yim.
Well, it was the other two as well. Crossing them too. But yeah, it didn't surprise me at all on these two. Only saying that because I like Mia. She's a hard worker, but she got screwed.
100%.
She got screwed way too much on this, especially when she's part of Retribution and everything else, that faction, as somebody else and everything, and something happened and they haven't used her since. And Keith Lee, he was one of the best big men on NXT, period. He is one of the best big men in wrestling history, bar none. I'm going to say that now.
I'm not even a huge Keith Lee fan. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't hate the guy, but like I'm just not huge. I'm not huge on him, but I will admit he's one of the best big men in wrestling ever.
Right, and especially since like he held his own at Survivor Series back in 2019, and he held his own against Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble. Plus, he was the NXT champion and North American champion at the same time. No other person in NXT has done that.
Adam Cole didn't?
He was the North American tag champion.
He was also NXT champion. Oh, but not at the same time.
Right.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Right. Keith Lee was the heavyweight, was the North American champion. Adam Cole was the heavyweight champion.
Well, I know, but you're saying Keith Lee was NXT champion and North American champion at the same time?
Yes.
Okay. That's where I got confused.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he was the first person to do that. It's like, and then you bring him to the main roster, you squander him, you keep changing his name, you're changing his music. Stop.
It's kind of like Samoa Joe. Except they didn't change his name or his music, but
well, they fired him the one time and then they brought him back, and then
which I read something about that, and they might I forget who said it too. It was somebody that worked in the WWE office and didn't anymore. And he said what that probably was is they wanted to renegotiate the deal, but they couldn't really renegotiate it on his old contract because he was injured and because of their like medical policy with concussions. It was just easier legally to release him and then after his non-compete to hire him back on with a different deal.
And see, that's another thing that upsets me is like, why would you fire somebody who's injured?
Well, no, what I'm saying is they probably agreed to do it that way because since he was injured, I can't remember what he said, but it basically looks like they amicably gave him his release. Like it was better for him. He just had to wait a bit before he could come back with a new deal.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying. I think that was a situation where it was just legally easier to release him and then hire him back on with a new contract.
Okay. That makes sense now.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, okay, that does make some sense. I think that was it for the WWE releases. That was everything on my list. Unless they fired somebody else today.
Give it time.
Yeah, exactly. Next week, ladies and gentlemen.
Speaking of releases and stuff, what's going to Ring of Honor?
Yeah, so, okay, the first thing I want to do is clarify. There are a lot of headlines going around, and again, you and I talked about this. Everyone is saying that Ring of Honor has released all of its talent, and I'm wondering why they're putting this in the headlines, because every time I read the article, they didn't just release everybody. What's happening is everyone whose contract expires at the end of 2021 is not being renewed.
Right.
That's not a release. And furthermore, everyone whose contract extends past January 2022 is staying on foreseeably for the duration of their contract, according to Ring of Honor.
Right. And I get that as well. But this is the thing that I'm going with is they're going with even if they're still signed, they're not going to come. They're not going to bring them back. They're wanting to go with non-big name. They want to go with indie guys.
Well, no, it's not that. It's just they're not wanting guaranteed money on the books. People will likely still be wrestling for Ring of Honor, but it'll be on a per show basis. Which, as we talked about, Ring of Honor, depending on the financial situation, which with it being Sinclair Broadcasting, it's not an issue of having the money. It's an issue of them giving enough money to do this. Ring of Honor has a hell of an opportunity to essentially do what Tommy Dreamer does with House of Hardcore, but on a bigger scale, where they have specialty shows. But, I mean, theoretically, as long as the talent can perform there, I mean, you could have some super shows, man. Like, imagine this. We talked about this, and there's a lot of Ring of Honor alumni that are out there in big companies right now. And I don't think for a second WWE is going to let any of their contracted people wrestle, but imagine if they did. But we talked about this one, and I'll lay this out for the fans. Imagine this. Ring of Honor has an anniversary show. And the main event, now somehow, some way, they have to get their heavyweight championship freed up. But the end of it is CM Punk versus Bryan Danielson for the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship. And it doesn't matter who wins. Really, would you not buy that pay-per-view?
I think anybody would buy that pay-per-view.
But then, and again, you know where I'm going with this because I told you already, it doesn't matter. Bryan Danielson or Punk, they're in there with the belt. They shake hands, Ring of Honor style. Lights go out. Lights come back on. And I know he's not the NWA champion. You set me straight on this. But let's hypothesize that Nick Aldis appears in the ring with the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship. He'd have to win it back, obviously. But we're talking, this is in 2022. There's plenty of time to line this up. Or this one's even better, which, again, I don't think this would ever fucking happen. But imagine those lights come on. And this would be especially good if Punk had won the ROH title. John Cena.
Well,
come on. Don't tell me that wouldn't put Ring of Honor, and frankly, it would be worth Sinclair paying Cena whatever he wanted.
It would, but I'm not disagreeing anything with what you're saying. But that first scenario would happen more than the second scenario.
Sure, but I thought of something else.
Okay.
If I'm in charge of Ring of Honor, because there's now speculation that they're going to be selling the library. Now, if I'm Ring of Honor, I don't want to sell the library, but I would be talking to AEW and WWE about licensing the library.
But okay, and I'm not disagreeing with that on your end either. But if I'm a businessman and I'm an owner and everything, if I buy the library, then I'm buying the whole company.
Correct. Yeah. No. I'm assuming that Ring of Honor is staying in business under Sinclair.
They are.
But what I would be doing is contacting WWE and AEW and saying, hey, we're not selling the library, but we will make you guys a hell of a deal if you want to license video from it, because a lot of your current superstars are from Ring of Honor. Now, what we would like in return is just, if the talent's up for it and it doesn't interfere with your schedules, can they do one-off shows for us?
I think AEW would more likely go with that than WWE.
100%. And I think you're right, too. Here's the thing. AEW would benefit from that much more than WWE would, because WWE is not going to lend their stars out. And they're probably going to say no to the library, even though they've licensed some footage from Ring of Honor before. But holy crap. Here's the thing. If Triple H was in charge of WWE, I think he'd take that deal.
He would.
Because how else would you get hardcore fans back into WWE than having, I don't know, Kevin Steen, Tyler Black, Claudio Castagnoli.
Right.
Well, you can't have Generico because he disappeared, but Sami Zayn looks like the guy, so I guess you could throw a mask on him.
Yeah, that's something you can't really do.
You know what I'm saying? And then you got Ciampa, Gargano, fucking tons of people who've gone through Ring of Honor.
Right.
And then there's everybody that's in AEW right now. Well, not everybody, you know what I mean. Everybody who had wrestled for Ring of Honor. I mean, I think they've got a golden opportunity here.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
But the one problem is the fact that Sinclair is a television company.
Right.
And right now they don't have a television product that I think people would tune into. It's not must-see TV every week, but that's their problem.
Right, because I established this with you the other day, because I said this about Japan and everything, is their stuff is on TV per se if you get the right channel to watch it. But what we're seeing is stuff that happened a year ago.
Well, that's only on the Axis show. If you get New Japan World, you can watch it live.
Oh, right. That's right. No, I understand what you're saying on that one. But I'm saying like on Access, New Japan, they're showing stuff like when I was watching it, they were still at the G1.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's in what, January?
Yes.
Okay. That G1's in January, and I'm in April or May watching stuff from then. And Ring of Honor, who's on TV, I got Sling, so I'll whatever. And they're showing stuff from the pandemic of last year in the enclosed building with no fans, which right now they have fans. So,
I mean, Ring of Honor could legitimately become a farm system for both companies, but the problem is I don't think Sinclair wants to be a farm system. But right now they don't really have much of a choice. Impact's kind of given into that when it comes to its relationship with AEW, because I mean they know.
Right.
They know they're playing second fiddle, but I mean they want to stay alive, right? Nobody's saying that Impact couldn't grow and become a legitimate third or heck, even number 2 company the way WWE's going. But right now, they're lucky to be alive.
Right.
And Sinclair obviously doesn't know what it's doing with Ring of Honor.
Nope.
Because if they did, I mean, everything was there. Everything was there for Ring of Honor to be a legitimate number 2 before AEW came along. It was just lacking in the budget presentation.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. They had arguably as good of a talent roster, if not better. Certainly had the potential matchups that people wanted to see, at least hardcore fans, but not like you couldn't get casual fans into it if you booked it properly.
And I watched it and everything too, especially here recently. I liked everything. It's just you need to get to that next level. That how Impact knows what they're doing and everything. It's like take a step from Impact and see what they're doing.
Yeah, they've gone back to the drawing board, and now they're figuring it out. And then also we've got GCW that virtually came out of nowhere.
Right.
They're doing good stuff. They're getting attention.
Right.
I mean, you could see a legitimate rebirth of ECW or an ECW-esque show, but they seem to be a little bit more business savvy.
Well, GCW, which was originally called Jersey Championship Wrestling way back in the day, that's what they were and still is to this date. But they pretty much taken over what another hardcore company is, and that was called Combat Zone Wrestling.
Now, CZW is still around. They're just not as big as they once were.
I think they're not even...
Oh, are they not?
Like, I think they're still around, but I don't think they've held any shows since the pandemic and everything.
Right, because they're very much an independent.
Right.
Well, but I mean, if you think about it, going into that, GCW fills that hardcore niche, which I think is why they're gaining in popularity, because nobody else is really doing that right now. I just don't know if they're going to be able to get like a legit TV deal out of it.
Right.
I don't think you can do that today. But they're filling that hardcore niche. People that like deathmatch wrestling and stuff like that, they're definitely going and checking out GCW. WWE obviously has like that sports entertainment thing covered. AEW is kind of in the same boat just because they're big enough they have to appeal to everyone. But Ring of Honor could be that legit company that is like caters to hardcore, not hardcore, and that's the wrong word, like pure wrestling fans, like the Jim Cornettes of the world.
Right.
Because they're out there. Trust me, they're out there. There's probably more lapsed fans than there are current fans right now, if I had to take a guess, judging by the numbers that used to happen in the 90s.
Right.
I mean, Ring of Honor, if they play their cards right, Ring of Honor could become a legit number 2, especially if WWE keeps doing what it's doing. Now, on the flip side of that, you could have someone like Tony Khan purchase Ring of Honor as a company, or Vince McMahon. I just don't think Vince McMahon would value it. Like, I don't think he'd find it worth it. You know what I mean?
It'd just be one of those things like, I bought Ring of Honor. It's another company that I've got destroyed because I'm trying to be number 1, even though I'll never be number 1 no more.
Well, I've often hypothesized WWE, Vince McMahon specifically, purchased WCW as mostly a dick measuring contest. And yeah, sure, they had talent that he wanted, but a lot of the bigger talent stayed at home while their Turner contracts ran out. And some never went to WWE until recently, and some never did. Sting comes to mind. Yeah, and now he's in AEW. I honestly think that when WWE purchased ECW, it was mostly a favor to Paul Heyman. Not directly, and plus they probably didn't want WCW to buy it.
Well, but that's the thing, though. How could WCW even buy it anyways when they were going on the ground themselves?
Well, right, but they didn't know they were quite too... Well, it's like you can say WCW was going into the ground, but it was owned by Turner, so... I mean,
right.
It essentially was kind of what Sinclair might do with Ring of Honor, where it's like, yeah, we can afford to keep this going, but do we really want to?
True. Because back then, though, when AOL and everything merged with Time Warner,
yeah,
we don't want want wrestling on our program no more.
Correct. But it wasn't an issue going bankrupt, is what I'm saying. ECW went bankrupt. WCW just got sold.
Well, they didn't go bankrupt until after the fact of Paul being on. He went bankrupt after Paul went to WWE because it's.
Well, yes, but they were on track. They were on track for bankruptcy, and Paul Heyman knew that.
Right.
Well, and actually, I forget who said it. Shit, I cannot remember who said it. So everybody was really hating on Paul Heyman at the time because ECW was still open, but he was on Monday Night Raw. But I don't think. Shit, I wish I could remember who said it.
Well, it was Tommy Dreamer.
It might have been. It might have actually been Bischoff. I can't remember. But somebody. Oh, you know what? No, it was Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette pointed out that Paul Heyman actually did a favor to basically everyone who worked for ECW because, like, there's a wait time until stuff is up for grabs. So, in order to do this, Paul ensured that everybody got paid before the company went into bankruptcy because it was still open, but they weren't running shows. So everybody got paid for what they had done, which we know is not true because I think by the end of it, Rob Van Dam was still owed somewhere to the tune of $150,000. But
that was Tommy Dreamer.
Well, Tommy Dreamer was owed money too.
No. What you're talking about, that was Tommy Dreamer. Because I even sent you a thing about that.
Oh well, Jim Cornette said it too, so I guess they both said it at one point or another.
Because he made sure that people were paid before, checks bounced and everything else.
Correct. Yep.
Right. Before he did the whole bankruptcy stuff, because if he would have went bankruptcy when he did, and people weren't going to get paid.
Right.
And here's my only thing is I don't know how it is to run a business and everything else. I don't.
It sucks. Don't do it.
Well, I mean, my only thing is like he was selling out arenas. He was making money off ticket sales. He was making money off merchandise. He was making money off video games, making money off action figures and everything else. But yet somehow he couldn't pay his talent. I don't understand that.
Mismanagement of funds. But now Paul Heyman's been on record stating that they really, from what I understand, they really got screwed over by the pay-per-view company because they owed them about $3 million, but they were refusing to pay it. I forget what their bullshit excuse was. But basically, if the pay-per-view company had paid what they owed ECW, then they probably could have stayed afloat, at least for a little while longer.
Okay. I see. I didn't know anything about that.
This was a special feature on Paul Heyman's WWE DVD, I believe.
Okay.
Which is really good. I highly recommend it. It wasn't as in-depth as I had hoped it would be, which is surprising because WWE owns the ECW library, but I mean it was interesting for sure.
Okay.
It's no rise and fall of ECW, but it's good.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Oh yeah, we were talking about Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean I guess like it's gonna be I'm curious to see how they're going to restructure it because they're obviously restructuring it as a company. They might be going back to its roots, but its roots were monthly shows and DVD sales, so I'm not sure what they'll do.
Well, they better figure out something by April when they have their first show.
Yep. Well, I think they will. It would be interesting to see, which I don't think they could pay him enough, but if they got, and I don't even know if Jim Cornette would be the right type of person to do it, but I don't think he'd be interested in running a wrestling company anymore because from the way he talks, he's had enough of it.
He tried to do it, especially when he was there back in the day, and then he was done when he finally left.
Well, yeah, because talk about the way he talks about it. Talk about having your hands tied behind your legs, like, geez.
Right. But they still got their last show coming up in December with Final Battle.
Yep. And what would they do? What would they do without Danhausen?
Oh, my buddy Danhausen, the best of all time. Now, if you fans only seen the look he just gave me, if you only seen the look he just gave me on that. Come on, say it. Say it.
I mean, the best of all time. He wasn't even the best last week.
Are you saying that because he broke his leg?
No. Well, no.
No. Well, no. But come on.
I mean, it's accurate, but that's not why I'm saying it.
Hey.
In all seriousness, we do wish Danhausen a speedy recovery because he's got a debut on AEW sometime, right?
Yeah, and actually, I don't know if you keep up with him like I do. Like I do.
No one keeps up with Danhausen like you do.
Hey, I like the guy.
Danhausen's wife doesn't keep up with him the way you do.
Okay. I don't have a befuddle for this, okay? A rebuttal, sorry. Actually, from what I did read on him, because, you know, I follow everything on social media. He's doing fine. He's actually had surgery on his leg, and he can actually walk. Actually walk. Like he's actually can walk now with the crutches, and he's doing fine, but it's still a long recovery on him.
Yeah.
So that's what sucked for that's what sucks for people like Danhausen and everything, because he's one of the top indie stars, you know, coming up right now with like Effie and Dan the Dad and all them people. Effie, the guy who beat Zack Ryder for the internet title, if y'all didn't know who that guy was.
How the mighty have fallen.
Well, I'm just stating. But like when you get to that type of pinnacle, like what they're at, especially when he just did the Jericho Cruise and everything else, and then just a big freak accident happened. It's like, okay, now he's got to do where can he get back up and everything else.
Now, did he get injured? Did he get injured on the Jericho Cruise?
No, it was at a regular house show. Regular indie show, I meant.
Imagine that, doing stupid shit on an indie show like the Tequila Kick.
No, actually, I don't think he even wrestled on the Jericho Cruise. I know he hosted a comedy show, and then he and Ospreay came out and saved Jericho and Orange Cassidy from a beatdown.
So that's an interesting idea. I'm not sure what his contract status is, but Will Ospreay might be someone who we could see in AEW sooner rather than later.
Well,
now he's gone on record saying that he wanted New Japan to be his home, but that was before AEW existed.
And that was the same thing with Kenny Omega too.
Right, but again, that was before AEW existed. Right. Frankly, I think Kenny Omega would be wise to go back to New Japan.
Well, as we all know, because we're leading up to what we're going to be leading up to, Full Gear coming up soon.
Which, speaking of which, we're going to be at the Go Home Dynamite before Full Gear this Wednesday.
Yes, it's coming Wednesday.
And I found out also that our very good friend, you know who he is also going to be at the show.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. He texted me back the other day.
Okay. Well,
I told him we try to find him and at least say hi.
I actually just messaged him a little bit ago to see him, but to see if he was going to be there. So good news on that.
He shall.
It just so you're aware, if it all depends on our Mr. co-host, sorry. You might see, if he's down with it, I see a little vlog.
Oh, yeah. I was at least going to shoot a little clip for it.
Well, I was just saying like in general, like everything. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I'll probably edit together a short little video vlog with our Dynamite fun.
Okay.
Put something out there on the channel. Once again, we will be there. We'll be obviously because we'll probably be the only ones not wearing black or CM Punk shirts.
We do have other wrestling shirts to wear there, but we're the ones going to be in full work gear.
Oh wait, your down the middle shirt is black. Never mind.
Yeah, mine's black. Yours is blue.
Yeah, well, we'll be the ones wearing our cartoon faces.
Yes, cartoon faces.
We'll stick out.
So it's like we always said: if you want to come out and say hi, we're the ones wearing down the middle podcasts. Come on up, have a talk.
If you watch the show, you'll see us.
You want to get into full gear?
Might as well.
You got the show lined up?
Nope.
Okay.
It's going to be awesome, though. Hold on. I can find it real quick. It is going to be a really good pay-per-view.
I'm looking forward to them all, but there's one match in particular I'm looking forward to the most on there. And we'll get to that match.
Let's see here. Oh, no, I don't want to purchase it yet. Although I might as well, right? There we go. Match card. That's what we want. Do. Maybe. Okay. Thus far, the night will begin with a trios match featuring Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, and Christian Cage versus the Super Click, which we've seen before. Interesting. Then we will have a singles bout with CM Punk going up against Eddie Kingston.
You want to give your thoughts on each match?
The trios match is a throwaway. We've seen it before. It's probably going to be goofy as shit, but entertaining. Kind of wasting Adam Cole, but you know he just got there, so he's got time.
I think this will be the night that the Click, the Super Click, loses.
Yeah, I don't know. That match is a throwaway. I'm looking forward to CM Punk versus Eddie Kingston, though.
I am. Very am.
That'll be really good.
We all know in this match who's going to go over, but
I mean, 80% sure, but it would be interesting if Kingston beat him.
It would.
It wouldn't make sense the way they've both been booked lately, but
I'm going to say this: if I don't see blood in this out of this match, there's going to be a shock.
This is one of those ones that it would be appropriate.
Yes,
it's not a hardcore match though, but it would be appropriate.
I see you turn that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And I think they would both agree. Anyway, next up, another match I'm looking forward to. We have the Lucha Brothers defending their AEW Tag Team Championships against FTR.
And this is
win, lose, or draw. This one's going to be good.
It's going to be good.
But and it sucks. I'm conflicted because on the one hand, I want the Lucha Brothers to keep their belts, but on the other hand, FTR deserves it.
I'm not denouncing that they deserve them again, but Lucha Brothers is going to retain.
Maybe. We don't know.
Because what I'm saying is, I've talked about this before, is it's going to set up for them to unify the belts again.
Well, they weren't really unified, though.
Well, what I'm saying is, because Lucha Brothers...
You mean the Lucha Brothers to get their AAA Tag Team Championships back?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Because Lucha Brothers was the champions of both. Then they lost the AAA tag titles. And then all of a sudden back out to okay, to prove who's the dominant tag team champions, here's the AAA tag titles. You put the AEW tag titles right there.
Next, we would have MJF versus Darby Allin. This one's going to be good.
It will be good.
Because MJF is deceptively athletic. Like his match with Sammy Guevara was so good.
Yes, it was.
And MJF is a lot more athletic than he lets on.
He can do anything. He can do anything.
Yep.
You picture him as one of those type of guys like he just does heavyweight stuff. But no.
I want to see MJF do a coffin drop to finish off Darby Allin. I want that match to be so hard for him to win that he pulls out all the stops and then finally it's just like, fuck it, I'll coffin drop him.
I could actually see that happening.
I could see him doing that. Think about it. Because then next week on Dynamite, he can just be like, I beat you, and I beat you with your own move.
Yes.
That is such an MJF thing to do. Now, a coffin drop isn't, but I think for a pay-per-view match like this, I think it would be worth it. Next up, we have a 10-man Minneapolis street fight, which is oddly appropriate considering what happened there last year. But basically, we got the Inner Circle versus Men of the Year and American Top Team.
This is the match I'm looking forward to.
Oh God, why?
Just so the Inner Circle could shut them up.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I understand why they put Men of the Year with them.
Yeah.
Because you got to have some wrestlers actually, with them and everything.
You got to have somebody to bump for you.
Right. But it's like, I get why we're with them, but then at the same token, Men of the Year can do better things like go for those tag titles too.
I agree, but Jericho's got to have something to do, right?
Well, true. But Dan Lambert, he's going to be in that match, and he's going to get the crap kicked out of him.
No, I imagine he's going to be protected, but Jericho's eventually going to get a hold of him.
It's going to be one of those things where it's like, they beat down everybody, and then right there in the middle, you got Inner Circle circling him, and Dan Lambert's right there in the middle.
Oh, they're going to go all over the building on this one.
Right.
Next, this is going to be another really good one. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, versus Ty Conti for the AEW Women's World Championship.
I see Britt's going to retain.
I agree, because Ty has not been in. Maybe she's been once. I can't remember. I don't think she's been in a match for the women's title yet.
I don't think she has.
No, so it'll be a good showing for her. But I agree. I see Britt Baker retaining. Plus, she's the number one female in the company right now.
If she drops it to anybody, she will drop it to Ruby when Ruby gets that actual chance.
Probably, yeah. There's a handful of people but again, they can book anybody to do it right. But right now, I think they need to keep that title on Britt Baker.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like, once it's time for it to go to somebody else.
Actually, I think if she's going to drop it to anybody, it's going to be Thunder Rosa.
Oh, forgot about that.
Yeah, I know. I almost did too, and then I'm like, oh wait, Thunder Rosa. That's probably the only person that she could drop the belt to right now and not have fans get really upset.
True.
Because I think that might be the one person who, like, if you're gonna have a babyface take it from a heel like Britt Baker, I think Thunder Rosa is like the one person right now that could do that.
Yeah.
Alrighty, and then next we have another match for the AEW World Title Tournament Eliminator. Oh, the AEW World Championship Tournament Eliminator Final. Say that fast 4 times. Miro versus Bryan Danielson.
Right, and we'll get into the reason. You want to get into Moxley now, or you want to wait till after?
We'll wait till after because we're also going to touch on his book.
Okay.
And then,
Well,
go ahead.
I was going to say the reason being why Bryan Danielson is in the finals is because of Jon Moxley.
So Miro's going to win?
No. I'm always saying because Moxley was in the tournament and they had to get out because of the situation. We're going to talk about in a minute.
Right. And then the main event, everybody knows this, Kenny Omega defending the AEW World Championship against Hangman Adam Page. And holy shit, if Hangman doesn't win it this time,
like, there's no reasoning.
They'll have killed the character if he doesn't win it this time.
Right, like don't. And this is what I've said about Cody. I know this is totally off topic, but like, how am I trying to say this? Don't ruin something that is deserved.
Right. Okay. It's Hangman's time.
Like, Cody's, taking jabs at WWE before plenty of times. We know this. Don't be a Triple H.
Yeah. Which I don't think they would be. In fact, that's the whole reason, the main reason Tony Khan took back Ultimate Creative Direction from the EVPs is because they kept booking themselves to lose.
See, and I even told you about that, about them losing their things. You didn't think I was...
They didn't so much lose it as he basically just reasserted that he was going to have final say on everything more so than he had, because apparently what was happening was the EVPs kept booking everyone else to look good, but at the time, because it also didn't happen when the news came out, it happened like a year prior. But what was happening is all the EVPs were booking themselves to lose all the time, but they were the biggest stars in the company at the time. The most established ones anyway. And Tony Khan was quoted as saying, it's like, you guys are the superstars and you're going to be booked like that. And that was the beginning of Kenny getting the title and the Elite getting the title and the return of the, the heel Elite factions where they were getting booked to win.
Well, right, but it's like you can only put yourself over so much.
Well, right, that's what I'm saying. They were trying not to put themselves over.
Well,
and I understand what he was doing at the time because, think about it. Other than Moxley, who else was going to be a legit world champion that hadn't already been? Like, honestly, at the time, Kenny needed to win that belt.
Well, no, and I'm not disagreeing with that either.
Yeah, and he did need to win it before. If Hangman wasn't going to be the first champion, which I totally get why they didn't, Kenny needed to win that belt before Hangman. Because now when Hangman wins it from Kenny, it's going to mean something.
Right. And that's what I was saying, because I look back at it, it was like from a WrestleMania all these years ago. WrestleMania 19, it was Booker T and Triple H for the world title. To me, I understand why they didn't put on Booker T because they were setting up for Triple H and Goldberg later on that year. But to me, though, I think Booker T, when he went for the world title, he should have won the world title when it was right for them. He didn't win it. He won a Great American Bash a few years later from Rey Mysterio on a WCW pay-per-view type thing as King Booker. Booker T should have won the world title at WrestleMania 19. And that's what I'm looking at for this standpoint with Page and Omega. Is if something's wrong if they don't put the belt on Page. Page deserves the world title.
Yep, arguably he should have won it earlier, but he had that leave about his sabbatical when his kid was born.
Right.
So they almost missed the moment, but they had him come back in a way that was a little contrived, but it can still work because everybody loves Page.
Right.
They might announce another match or two, especially maybe for the pre-show, but Full Gear's looking to be pretty good.
Compared to WWE, who just now started booking their Survivor Series pay-per-view yesterday on Twitter.
Yeah, don't care. I could not care less.
No, I'm just stating. Like,
oh, I know. I'm just saying, like, that's where I'm at with WWE right now. Like, I'm legitimately, like, it's so bad that I don't even care to watch the people that I actually give a shit about, because it's not like they're going to be doing anything worthwhile anyway.
The only thing they announced was the Survivor Series matches for men and women.
Man, I remember when Survivor Series was an exciting pay-per-view.
You're right. And Survivor Series is a week after Full Gear.
Yeah, won't be watching it.
Well, no, I'm just stating, like, they're just now announcing matches.
I know. I rewatched Survivor Series. I think it was 06 or 07. The one where it had DX, Team Extreme, and CM Punk in one of the Survivor Series matches.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
I remember the beginning. Mike Knox was on the other team, right?
Yeah, Sean eliminates him, and then he's like, "Was he in the match?"
He's like, he turns around, stripper kick, and he's like, "You ring the bell, right?" Yeah. Okay. 1, 2, 3. He's
like, "Is he in the match?" And then you can hear Triple H being like, "He's a guy on ECW."
And then they do that other spot, him and
Melina.
John Morrison. Melina, John Morrison.
Oh, it's so funny.
Leapfrog, and he goes out the ring. He's like, and just start hugging each other. Like, ah! I'm like, okay.
See, but that right there is an example of how to do a comedy match that doesn't, make it look completely ridiculous. Like, because the team was so outmatched that they could have some fun.
Right.
I mean, let's be real. Nobody on that team was a legitimate threat to anyone on the other side.
Right.
Not as a group, anyway. It was a clean sweep, because how could you, like, they booked that so right for the kind of match they were having.
Oh, no, I agree. Now, getting to what we're getting ready to talk about, because we talked about Jon Moxley. If any,
apparently Jon Moxley likes to drink.
Well, whoever didn't know that needs to should have known that. And I'm not making fun or anything.
I'm not making fun of him. Legit. Like, I know that can be a bitch to deal with, but I'm sure he'll pull through.
Right, and everything, and I just hope he finds his better place.
I'm sure he will. I think the catalyst for all this was, their kid being born.
I think, yeah, because that was. I'm sorry for trying to use other people to compare him to. Like, I think it was Randy Orton. I think.
Yeah, I believe you're right.
Because he was in the same place and everything else, and then as soon as his kid was born, he totally changed into somebody else. That's like, and like I've stated earlier, like, I have a child and everything, and you can be one person for the longest time, but as soon as you have a kid, it totally changes you. 100%. And him doing this, going into rehab for his problems and everything else, plus they're moving to, they've already announced that they're moving to Cincinnati.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're moving from Vegas to Cincinnati, his hometown.
Yeah.
To live, because he feels more worthwhile. I understand why they lived in Vegas, because of money initially, everything. He said tax-free and all that. Okay, cool. None of our business, but, cool, because, he announced it. But him moving back home where he feels at ease, I get it.
Yeah.
Plus, he even said, like, they're close to Toronto, where Renee's from. So that's not that far of a drive.
No, it's manageable.
So it's like, I get it. You're trying to do the whole family thing on the road and all that type of stuff. I totally respect him on this. So, like, Jon Moxley, from us down the middle, we praise you.
Yeah, not only that, it seems like he made this decision before it became like a huge problem. Like, he wanted to take care of it before, it got to a more extreme place, from what I can tell.
And and I'm not trying to down them and everything, but like, especially on AEW here the last few weeks, like you could tell. Like, no, I'm only saying that because of this news coming out, especially like him just coming out, beating the crap out of somebody, and then walking back is like, what? Like that's not real. That's not the Jon Moxley we know. Even then.
Well, but
Like,
also in Jon Moxley news, his book has been released. From what I've heard, it's really good. I do plan on reading it. I haven't ordered it yet, but I'm going to.
I'm not much of a book guy, but I hope it does. I'm not doubting everything with books. I hope it does well for him. I know Renee, her books, they're doing real well.
Yep. Well, from what I hear, it's doing well already, and it's getting some pretty high praise.
Okay. All right.
So, yeah. You said you had an announcement about XCW.
Yes. What's today's date? Oh, 7th.
Yep.
XCW, if y'all do follow us on XCW, we always have the link in the description below. We actually just had our last big show of the year yesterday, which was called Adrenaline. We do get our shows up all the time, so follow us on Twitter at XC Wrestling One, on YouTube at XC Wrestling One. The link to the description for the website as well. I can't think of the name of the site because it always loses it for me.
It's down below.
Yep. We do have 3 more shows coming up for the off season. We have Thanksgiving. I forget what the Thanksgiving show is called. We also have Clash Like Christmas and New Year's Nemesis, which will take place on Christmas Day and New Year's Day. Plus, we will have our Viewers' Choice Awards, which we have every year, which that will be recorded and posted to YouTube. So we got a lot more off-season stuff coming up for the rest of the year. So no more say in-ring stuff, no more off-season stuff like our Men of Honors and stuff like that.
And speaking of links below, you can also find our audio streaming platforms listed below, as well as our official merchandise store. You can get your official Down the Middle t-shirt, as well as our newest It's All a Work t-shirt, quoting my co-host over there.
It's all work.
I gotta say, I'm actually really proud of that shirt. Like, it turned out pretty good, I think.
Yes. I still need to get the shirt, but
yeah, I do need to get on that. Getting the samples ordered. That makes me think somehow, some way, I still have to come up with that contest for the Pro Wrestling Tees boxes.
Oh, okay.
And then, so it's going to be, I'm going to lay it out. I don't even know what the contest is going to be yet, but, I got it. Maybe because with the audio streaming platforms, you can actually record a voice message and send it to us. We might just have to have people send in their best wrestler impersonation.
Okay.
And tell us why you deserve to win in the voice of your favorite wrestler. And we will then pick the winner. Okay. But first place will be one of the boxes that has 10 random t-shirts. Then they have their botch boxes, which is 3 t-shirts that are botched in some way. Third place will get, let's do this. Third place will get an official Down the Middle or It's a Work t-shirt, your choice. And then fourth place, because I'm a generous man, will get my size medium Bear Country t-shirt that I got in my box that I just don't want.
Okay.
And if you're not a medium and you win fourth place, I'm sorry. Give it to your friend. You can re-gift it to someone. It is the holiday season.
That's true.
What do we want to say? Deadline will be I don't know. Why don't we say Christmas? I don't know.
Well, let's be fair, because holidays and everything.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. So why don't we say like
Middle
December
of December.
middle of December? Yeah, let's say December. Hold on. What's that Sunday? Let's see here. On. Let's say December 15th, because then we can play everything on our show on the 19th and we can decide our winners.
Okay.
So you heard it here, folks. Check out the link down below in the description, the anchor.fm link. You can send us a voice message. You tell us why you deserve to win. And then, of course, if you're not already, like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends. It can be. Let's make this fun.
Yeah, let's go ahead. No,
and
that's
then
fine.
if nobody does it, then nobody wins.
Huh?
And the Bear Country shirt gets thrown into the trash.
There's nothing wrong with Bear Country that much.
I'm just not a fan.
Okay, well, that's fair.
Well, I don't know about you, buddy, but I think that pretty well wraps it up.
I think it does, actually.
Cool. We'll see you all in 2 weeks, or we might see you at Dynamite on Wednesday, November 10th. Yes, it is the 10th.
Yes, this Wednesday the 10th.
And then everybody, make sure you buy and watch Full Gear.
Buy it. Watch it.
Love it. And clean up after you're done. See you next time, everybody.